Hub Radio Phoenix is an internet-based podcast platform providing numerous special interest programs reaching over 100,000 viewers per week. Hi, I'm Ron Ludders, executive producer of Hub Radio Phoenix. We don't pretend to be journalists, but we're not afraid to say what's on our minds. We thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Hub Radio Phoenix. Stay tuned, stay faithful, as the best is yet to come.
You're watching Backstreet Gossip, news talk, current events, and political commentary with your host, Ron Ludders. Now, let's return to the show.
Well, welcome back, everybody.
Yes, that was always great to talk to Pasta.
Oh, Pasta. And he's got a lot of information. And pardon, there's some nasty words that he said, ladies and gentlemen. But
he's speaking French.
He says it from his heart. He's
right. We have another guest.
And we have a friend of yours, Ray?
Yes, from L.A. And I'm not talking about Lower Alabama. I'm talking about right there in the city of Los Angeles.
Another Californian?
Yes. He's
Two in one night?
Yes. Can you believe it? Wow. All right. So, Dennis, are you there? This is Dennis Turner. Dennis, can you hear us okay?
Is Dennis there?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, Dennis. My goodness, that's good to hear your voice
probably
again.
Need a little bit louder for Dennis.
Last time I heard your voice, you were speaking French or something.
I had to express my love for your show. You guys are fighting the good fight.
Well, we certainly are. Sometimes we feel like we're losing, but there are other times when we feel like we're making a real dent in what's going on in the country. And right now we were talking to a fellow out of L.A. as well, and he was saying that he does not believe that Newsom will be recalled, and that's sad. What's your opinion, sir?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we were just talking about it here, and I hear so much. I, first of all, don't believe the polls necessarily. I think we learned that lesson the previous president. The polls are saying one thing, but all of the people doing the polls are for Gavin Newsom, coincidentally. I can tell you this. If there were either a little more time for Larry Elder or he had a bigger budget, because he is so connected with people, it is unbelievable the difference. He is so articulate, and he's got such love for the state and his ideas. And this, I hope people who followed this can be learning something, not to be bamboozled by the insults that are being leveled at Larry, but they're also insulting me, a Californian. They're insulting all of us Californians. What I mean is, when our president has to fly here to California to campaign for Governor Newsom, and all he can say is bad things about Larry Elder that are slanderous. He literally, I heard him say with my own ears, Larry Elder is the closest thing to Donald Trump I've ever seen. So you want to vote for Donald Trump? They're still using the Donald Trump.
Is that what he said?
I on my mother's grave. That's what he said.
Oh,
Not only that, are you insulted to hear that instead of hearing anything that Gavin Newsom did good? He didn't have anything. He couldn't say anything that he did good.
My.
And all he could do was raise the Trump card and appeal to people's sense of hate. And that is insulting. It's dirty.
It is.
And guess what? So did Obama. Obama campaigned. You probably didn't see his ads out there in beautiful, warm Arizona. Where here,
Hot
in beautiful,
Arizona.
warm.
Not warm. It's not warm. I wish it was warm here.
Well,
but,
Mr. Obama.
So there were some
Dennis.
there were some Obama commercials for Gavin Newsom in L.A.
Yes, and they were doing the same thing. All he said was, let me be clear, you Californians have a decision to make. Republicans, this Republican recall has to be stopped. Right away, they spin it as a Republican recall, even though I guarantee you there are Democrats, there are Latinos of all walks of life who are so disgusted with what happened to California, the crime, he shut down this state so bad that even Dennis Turner, your buddy, yours truly, was kicked out of work for a year and a half because it was such an aggressive shutdown. But did Gavin Newsom keep his own winery operating and open?
Oh,
You
I'm sure
bet.
he did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Dennis, you were born and raised in L.A., and I know you love it there so much. What's the condition? I mean, where you live, you're right in the heart of things. And when you talk about going to Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, any of these, just give us an idea for our audience how much it's changed from the California that we knew and loved.
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that, because the biggest change you see visually first is the endless amounts of tents and bonfires and trash, and it's a mess. Every freeway overpass, all places of opportunity. There's a whole area in one of the areas of the city for burned out, non-functioning motorhomes that are towed there and used as homes. The homeless population has choked the whole visual thing. So the first thing you notice is the homeless. The other thing is that, gosh, for about a year after the businesses were hit so hard and terrible, every other building, storefront business is up for rent. I mean, you can see that in some of the best places in town. They're closed for lease, completely gone. They're not coming back, and that's scary. And some other people are saying, we already voted against Newsom with our feet. And I said, well, what do you mean? And they say, we're leaving.
Right. Now, when you see these homeless camps, you said that they're everywhere. Is it safe? I mean, can you walk your dog? Are they bothering people? Are they trying to stay with themselves? I'm sure that the amount of panhandling and drug use and just the facilities to take a shower, to go to the bathroom, to wash your hands.
Yeah,
what's going on with that?
It's, on one hand, many of them are completely down on their luck and have no family, and many of them are veterans, and many of them have just had terrible luck. And it makes me wonder how many more have been made homeless at this timing in their life because of what's happening in the state. But the thing is, there's crime, and people are afraid of it just because of the look. But there are areas in LA where it has grown so big that they've taken over places where cars used to park. And there are whole blocks where you can't park, to use businesses nearby or to do things. You can't park there anymore because they have set
Somebody
up
has
crap.
a tent. Somebody has a tent set up and a
set
campfire.
up things, right there. And the strange thing is that all of the solutions that they've come up with have been bonkers. One of them, they cleaned most of the tents off of the Venice boardwalk and the Santa Monica bike path areas and the beach areas, they reached an all-time high of tents. Well, they cleared a lot of those, and what happened was these people relocated to other areas to be homeless, and when they offered them housing, they didn't want it because they want to be, in a community of homeless where they're in the open air, and they were shut into these tiny little micro rooms in repurposed apartment buildings or old hotels and repurposed areas, and they even set up sheds. And the homeless people, after a while, the ones that went for that, they said, "Forget this. I want the ocean breeze on my face. I want the outdoors. And if I can't have that, I want to live on a row of tents somewhere where my buddies are there and we can, share and do stuff."
Wow.
But Dennis, you said something there that struck a note with me. You said there were a lot of veterans, homeless veterans. And, of course, we see what's going on in the world today. We see how the southern borders were being invaded. We see where we're taking in, I've heard, as high as 100,000 Afghanistanis. And American military personnel are homeless. And I am just appalled that any government of any country would take in people from other countries before they would take care of the people that fought for their own country. I'm just appalled at that.
I have to agree with you, and I think you're really in touch with that situation, because you guys didn't even know this. I'm friends with you guys that listen to the show, but I literally live 1 block from the Veterans Center here in West LA, an enormous complex that takes care of vets. And there is one of the largest homeless tent encampments of its kind in the city. In fact, they did a special on it a couple of years ago when they passed out tents with American flags for these poor, wonderful veterans. And then they were overrun by people who weren't veterans. And now it's kind of mixed in. But these guys know what's happening. And this is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I lived in Venice Beach on 9/11, 2001, and it's an amazing thing what happened. I had to get some coffee in the morning. I didn't know anything about the towers, and all I could hear as I passed the row of homeless, this is how long it's been going on, all I could hear was them saying, "We got to go to Afghanistan. What's going on? Afghanistan, those guys, we got to hit them hard and fast now." And I think, what's going on? And they were comforting each other, and they were hyper, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I went back and turned on the TV when I got home, and oh, bingo. I was appalled. And now I hear them talking about exactly, Ron, what you mentioned about how we're allowing in possible people who are on the watch list instead of helping this problem. And who does that come back to in our state? Mr. Newsom.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nancy.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
Auntie,
Dennis-
Auntie Nancy.
Yeah, so Dennis Turner, I know that Peter Martin over here is very interested in your view of what's going to happen with the election.
Okay. I fear that people are going to be swayed by the blackballing, by using the Trump name, by having Obama, Biden, Elizabeth Warren, and other people.
David?
You're right, but on Larry Elder's side, that we had John Voight weigh in for him.
Yes, he did.
Rose
And,
McGowan jumped in there.
Rose McGowan. I tell you, it's a little too close to call, because a lot of people are not voicing their opinion if they are Republican. This is what's happened in this state. We're afraid, if we're Republican, to bring that out in the front because we don't want to be canceled. We want to work. We don't want to be blackballed. We don't want to be threatened.
I think you guys can make it. I think you guys can make it, Dennis. I do.
I thanks. I do too, because remember, don't believe the polls.
Right.
Necessarily, especially if they're by NBC News, ABC News,
Exactly.
And Fox.
They're all, yeah.
You got to know, at least in Southern California, Northern California maybe not as much, but at least in Southern California where you're at, Dennis, you got to know that there's a lot of patriots there. Just look at the 4th of July fireworks last year and this year. And last year especially when Gavin Newsom said, don't do any fireworks displays, and people just went crazy. and let's face it, this is not just Republicans who are shooting off those fireworks. There's patriot Democrats out there too, and they're not happy with the way they've been mistreated by Gavin Newsom. So I have faith in you guys. I think overall you guys are going to make it.
That's wonderful. And there's a lot of people exactly as you described in the backbone of the state who are worried and concerned for the state. And all you have to do is listen to what the candidates have to offer. And Larry's ideas are wonderful. And Newsom can't say anything bad about Larry except that he's a Republican.
And of course, he is a white supremacist.
The black face of white supremacy?
Yes.
Now I've heard it all.
Wow.
Dennis, let's just hope and pray that we're not only focusing on the big cities there, SFO, San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, that we're focusing on the rural areas, the ones that have been hit hard by the wildfires and the water shortages and the brownouts and the blackouts. Let's hope that those people are coming together and they're going to get to the polls in a vast majority to have the change that California so needs and deserves. And I know we're running out of time, so Dennis, thank you so much for. Can we call you again? Can you give us an update?
Anytime. I'll put my finger on the pulse of LA. And thanks, guys, for caring for us and watching out for us. And we will hope for the best.
All right. Thanks so much, Dennis. Thanks.
We have another program on Monday or Wednesday, Ray, and maybe we can tap into see what happened.
Yeah, see what happens. Get the
recap.
Cool. Yeah, get the roundup.
And God bless you guys. And let's turn this into I remember a time when California was one of the best states in the Ronald Reagan types.
Yeah.
Boy, had some really good leadership at one point in time, but I don't know what's happened to it. But
yeah, we sure need it now. Well, thanks for shining the light on us, and we'll hope.
Thanks, Dennis. God bless. God bless.
Go California.
Take care.
We've had Dennis on the phone from California, and we're going to have to get going here because our time is out, Ray.
Yeah, we even went over.
And we went over time, but this election tomorrow is crucial as far as I'm concerned. And it's going to tell us a lot about what's going to happen in 2022.
That's right.
I think there's a lot to be learned here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're sorry we went over. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday night for Fighting Back with, give your plug, with Josh.
Josh Bernstein, Uncensored.com.
All right.
Yeah, and don't forget every Thursday night, Jay Lawrence
Peter,
show right here.
Yeah. And Peter, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
and
for
we
having
want
me,
you
Roger.
back.
Peter.
Thank you.
We
for
want
having
you
me,
back
Ray.
because I think everybody wants to know what's
Great
happening.
to be here.
But thank
you,
you
guys.
especially for joining us tonight. We will see you on Wednesday night.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Can't handle the truth.